Welcome to the Copilot Studio user group session. Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the group gathering. It's fantastic to have you guys here, whether you're joining us for the first time or returning to continue the journey with this growing community. This user group was created with a simple purpose to bring together people who are passionate about building, learning, innovating, and working on Power Platform, Microsoft Copilot Studio. Now, every session is an opportunity to explore new capabilities, share practical insights, and connect with like minded individuals. So, today's session is all about learning, collaboration, and elevating our collective understanding of what's possible with the Copilot Studio interface. So, let's dive in, let's learn something new, and continue building a strong community together. All right, to start with today's session, first thing, housekeeping. This session is recorded, so if you do not consent to being part of the recording, please exit this event now. Recordings will be made available in the YouTube channel, so that's Power Tech Spec, that's my YouTube channel, and Power Brews, the YouTube channel for Nehal Shah, who is a co-presenter. So a bit of introduction about me. Girish, I'm from Brisbane. I'm a Microsoft MVP for business applications. Power Apps and Power Pages, my specialization in the MVP side. However, I do work on other tech as well. Nehal Shah, who is like a co-presenter over here. So she is a business application consultant. She extensively work on Power Pages, Power Apps, and everything in Power Platform. So in this session, we are going to look into the new features that are available within Copilot Studio. Now, in the last fortnight, we have seen so many new announcements coming from the Copilot Studio site. So, Copilot Studio related features. So, things have changed. Like this is the new screen. This is how you will now start building an agent and workflow. And also, from a workflow perspective, this is how you're going to start building your workflows. So a new look and feel, a new UI, and a refreshed interface. So that's all in the slide. So let's jump into the demo. So maybe before I jump into the demo, I'll just like to give information about the PowerTech Spec YouTube channel. So I run a YouTube channel and I have recorded more than 1,000 videos. So if you get time, have a look into some of the content in Copilot Studio, SharePoint. So I do a lot of things on Power Pages, Power Apps. So you'll see a lot of playlists over here. And all the recordings for this session. So you can navigate to user group videos. You can see the view full playlist. And here you will see all the recording for the previous session as well. So even this session's recording, we will upload in this channel. All right, to start with Copilot Studio, but before we go into Copilot Studio, let's look into the Power Platform admin interface. Now, Power Platform admin center is basically the place where you can configure all the environments. So first thing first, environment. So environment is like a container which hosts apps, flows, pages, agents. These are like set of environments. Environments are of different types. So any artifact you create within Copilot Studio will reside in an environment. All right, so that's the first gist. Now, if you see over here, this is the Copilot Studio interface. So this is the classic interface, which we all are used to, right? So this is how you open an agent. You see various tabs like overview, knowledge, tools, agents, topics, etc. So if I go into the homepage, copilotstudio.microsoft.com, there is an option to go and try out the new interface. So if I click on try now, I will be able to see the modern interface. In this screen, I have already navigated into a modern interface, the interface which you just saw. So if I click on try now, it will enable the modern experience. Now, while building an agent, you have two options. Like you can build an agent, you can build a workflow. New experience, so this is all turned on. Here you have an option to send a feedback to Microsoft. Now, this is pretty much important. You guys need to send feedback to Microsoft because this product, which you can see over here, it's just a start, right? Like, so there might be some technical glitches at the start. So if you encounter any issue, I would highly recommend you to send feedback to Microsoft, share relevant content, samples, additional log file if possible. All right, so we know how to switch from modern experience to new experience, right? Or like the old experience to the new experience. If I click on agents, I'll be able to see the list of agents. Now, this is a modern interface. Now, if you watch the URL over here, it says copilotstudio.preview.microsoft.com. This is the environment it belongs to and agents. Now, on the left-hand side, here you will see your name, the person who has logged in, and also here you will see the environment. You have an option to sign out and you have an option to switch to a different environment. So environment switcher is now on the bottom left. Other than that, here you have an option to select or change from dark mode to light mode. So again, like accessibility related feature, it is all available over here. So you can turn on the dark mode, you can turn off the dark mode just by a switch. Other options you can see is session details. So you'll see session details like account, email, environment, cluster, theme, route ID, session ID, etc. This will help you in the debugging aspect of the solution. Now, if you closely watch this URL, it says agents, right? Now, I can just manipulate the URL and maybe I'll just type in bots. Okay. So if I just change the URL, you will be navigated to the old interface, right? So that means there's a change in the URL and then it will take you to the old interface. So bots is the old terminology, agents is the new terminology. Here you will see all the list of agents which has been published. You can sort, you can see the owner, you can see the list of agents. Also, you can search an agent. Now, this is the old interface. In the old interface, if I click on settings, if I click on session details, I can see a whole bunch of session details. Now, these all things are not available in the current interface. So in the current interface, I showed you, right? Like you just navigate to the current interface and then you will see diagnostic info. Now, there are many things within which is there in the old interface. There is a change in the look and feel of how the agent will be presented. So if I just navigate to say one of the agents, so if I go to say one of the agent over here, it will open the agent in the classic interface. And in the classic interface, you will see multiple tabs, overview, knowledge, tools, agents, topics, activity, evaluation, analytics, and channel. Now, these are like kind of 9 tabs. Now, this 9 tabs have been changed now. Now, if you create an agent now, you will not see all these tabs. So I'm going to cover all these things, but I just wanted to give you a brief about what all things have changed. All right, to start with, let's try out the new interface. So you click on try now, or you click on this modern experience, and then your agent interface will open up. 2 things you can create, agent and workflow. So if I click on agent, I have an option to name the agent. So let's call this as CPS like Copilot Studio User Group, maybe June, or maybe I'll just call it as July agent. I have an option to change the agent icon over here. So I can pick and choose whatever icon I want. I can change the color. And if I'm not happy with this, I can go ahead and upload a new icon. I can put an accent color if I have any image with me. I click on apply. Here you can specify an instruction. So I can say this agent will answer questions about Copilot Studio user group. So this is just like a dummy agent which I'm trying to create over here just for you to uh, see how this interface works. Now I have an option to format this as well. So I can do a formatting. So you can see over here, I can do a formatting. I can put in bullet list, I can put a number list, but I'm not going to go in through all this information, but this is the place you put all the instructions for your agent. However, you might see a lot of things happening in the site. Now, all the tabs have disappeared. Now you have a specific area which will basically enhance the agent's capabilities, like Microsoft IQ, skills, tools, knowledge, connected agents, and memories. All right. So before you even click on save and publish, what I would highly recommend you to do is click on more options and see the settings. Now here in the settings, you have agent details. This section is very much important, identity, because you're just going to see it for the first time over here. After that, you will not be able to edit this. So think about like if you want to change the schema name, this is the time to change, right? Now, this functionality is kind of a bit glitchy at the moment, but once it is like complete GA, I think you should be able to change the solution, change the language, and change the schema name at first. So I can go ahead and put whatever name I want. I can pick the solution name. Now I have a lot of solutions over here. I can store this agent in one solution, and then I can pick and choose the language. So there's so many languages in which I can create an agent. Now remember, this is the primary language the agent prefers for its response. There are other settings which you can change it later, but I'm just gonna keep as it is. I'll just close this down. And now I can go ahead and save this agent. And once you save this agent and all the changes are persisted, you can go ahead and publish this agent. So publish module has also changed a bit. Now in the old interface, you had build, preview, evaluate, and monitor. Now you can get these options at the top. But in the classic interface, you had 9 different tabs like knowledge or agents or tools. So those all things have been replaced by just 4 of the tabs over here. I have an option to pick and choose models. So by default, the model is Anthropic Claude Sonnet, but I can select Claude Opus, Opus 4.7, 4.8. I can select GPT models over here. So all the model selections happen in the first screen. So you can pick and choose whatever models you want. There is other options over here. So Microsoft IQ. Now you can bring in the work context, business data, and app signals to improve answers and action. So again, this is in a preview state. So if I click on plus, you have an option to bring information from Microsoft Foundry as a part of Foundry IQ. So you can enable the agent to use enterprise knowledge source and AI models from Azure AI Foundry. How to connect? It's simple. You click on add. It will ask you to establish a connection. Click on create new connection. And then you need to specify the endpoint of Foundry IQ, provide the key, and that's it. So this is from an API key perspective. You can also connect using Entra ID integrated. Thereby, you just need to provide a service endpoint. Client certificate, provide the tenant client ID and the client certificate. You need to upload a file, or you have a service principal based authentication. So there are multiple ways through which you can connect. Now, why would you like to do that? Because think about it like you have an agent built in Foundry which does some activity. Now, Foundry has got a capacity and like say you can create multiple agents within Foundry and you can create from multiple providers. Now here the agent which you can create is limited to GPT and Claude. But then think about like you have an agent which is Google based or Meta based or Mistral based. You can create an agent in Foundry and then you can call that agent as a sub agent to this particular agent. So you can connect through Foundry IQ and then you can get the context through that agent. So that's one of the use case. Now that's about model selection. Now there are something called as skills, tools, knowledge, connected agents, and memory. So I'm going to cover all these things, but I would like to first show you how to basically connect to tools. Now tools are basically an extension for that agent, so you can connect to external systems and actions. So I click on tools and you get an option to select model context protocol. So there's a whole bunch of list like work IQ, email for Outlook, Teams, SharePoint, Dataverse Server, Dynamics 365, Service, ERP, Admin Center, Work IQ, Copilot, and there are other external providers as well, like Databricks, DocuSign, and other MCP servers. You can also connect to a connector. So there's a whole bunch of connector list. As you see, this connector list is ever growing. So you can connect to multiple third-party systems, or you can also utilize the workflow which you have created, which I'm going to cover in some time. So workflows, again, it was previously called as agent flows, which came from Power Automate Flow. You can set up some process and then you can call that workflow in this particular agent. Also, if the workflow doesn't exist, you can click on add and you can add your own MCP server or you can add your own workflow. So if I click on add model context protocol, I can create my own MCP server. I can provide a server description. I can connect to a URL. I can specify the authentications and I can consume that for my agent. So there are multiple options for you to consume those resources. Knowledge, so provide trusted context to guide decisions. So I can add a knowledge base from here, click plus, and then you can search for a knowledge base, basically categorized into public website, OneDrive, and SharePoint. Now, the only difference which I found in the classic interface is drag and drop. Now here, if you drag and drop a file, it will take that as a knowledge source. However, in the classic interface, you can, if you drop multiple files, you can group the files in one category. Now that option is missing in the new interface. From a public website perspective, there is an option over here. This is an important option. Searching all the website. Now you allow the agent to search the web to find the content. So by default, it is turned off. So if you want, you can turn this off or turn this on, and you will be able to iterate through the contents from the web. So so over here, I can add a link. So maybe I'll just put in my website name, click on add, and you can change the name. You can change the description and that's it. And you can just click on add to agent. So we have added one knowledge. We can go ahead and add a tool. So maybe I can just select Microsoft Dataverse MCP server. Connection is already established. I can pick up whatever connection I want. Click on add. So I've added one tool. I can go ahead, click on tool, click on connector, and maybe I can search if there is any Outlook connector or maybe Power BI connector or any other connector like Office 365 user. I can select anything from here. So Outlook.com, Office 365 Outlook. Maybe I'll just select send an HTTP request and maybe I'll just click on add. So I can add this as a tool. Then connected agents. Before I go into connected agents, let's look into knowledge again. Like if I click on knowledge, we went into public website. But now instead of just turning it on or adding a public website, I have an option for advanced. So here, what I can do is I can use Bing custom service to connect to a website. So take, for example, Microsoft.com. Now, Microsoft.com has so many pages, so many content, and there is like a whole bunch of information in the Microsoft website. Now, if I want to narrow down the content or put the scope in that particular website and say that I just want to iterate through maybe one or two pages, I can create a Bing custom search configuration and then I'll get an ID, a configuration ID. Once I create that configuration ID in Bing, I can put that over here. And now instead of navigating through the entire universe public website, I'll be able to only scan through or skim through the narrowed scoped content. So this is the place where you can put those configuration. So I'll just click on leave. And then in knowledge, I can go ahead and add SharePoint. So I have got a couple of SharePoint site. I can select the items over here. On the left-hand side here, you will see all the websites. So I have various websites over here. I can pick on any of the websites. So I have got invoice document library. So I can click on it. Then the document library will appear. And maybe I'll just say, I want this couple of items to be scanned and then act as a knowledge source for this agent. So I can go ahead and add this. So I can just call this maybe contoso invoice and wing tip doc. and I'll click on add to agent. And then this is how I can add a SharePoint. And similarly, if I have a OneDrive for Business and if I want to select any files within my OneDrive for Business, I can go ahead and select. Now I can see a lot of files over here. Maybe I'll just say select Microsoft Purview. And this is one of the documentation for Microsoft Purview. And so we have a knowledge source from OneDrive, SharePoint, public website, connector for MCP server, and then a connector. Now, I can also add a workflow. Now, let's spend some time in the workflow. Now, how do you create a workflow and those kind of thing? So if I click on tools over here, I can go ahead and click on add a workflow. So once I click on add a workflow, I'll be able to see this entire interface. So this is when an agent calls the flow, I perform some operation. Let me go back and maybe in a different screen, what I will do is I will go into maybe the home page and create a workflow from here. So I'll just click on workflow. What are the things you can do from here? Like when I click on the workflow, it will give me a trigger. Now this trigger will not work with my agent. So what you need to do is instead of manual trigger or recurrence or HTTP request received, you need to select a connector. The moment you select a connector, search for agent. And here you get a lot of options, Power Virtual Agents, V1, V2, then this is skills. Now remember, always select this. So when an agent calls the flow, then only perform some operation. So I'll select this. Now when an agent calls the flow, I may need to perform some operation. So maybe I'll create some function. So I'll just select this function, drag and drop over here. Maybe it's a date time operation. I'll just say add to time. Okay, so add to time, timestamp. I need to have some sort of a page timestamp. I have an option to select a dynamic content. I can pick up the value from the agent interface, like the body or output, or I can go ahead and write my own function. So I can ask Copilot to generate an expression. Maybe I'll just say, get me date time now. Like if I don't know the function, maybe I can take help from this expression assistance and then it will start giving me some suggestions. Okay, it has given me UTC now. So maybe I'll just copy it or maybe I'll click on insert and that's the timestamp. What do I want to add? Maybe I want to add two. To what? Maybe 2 days. So current date plus 2 days. So let's assume this is your business logic. You can go ahead and even rename this and you can just say add 2 days. So this workflow will be added over here. And you can just close this. You can individually test this function as well. So as you see over here, this is a workflow. But in order to first work on this workflow, I just need to rename this and I'll just call this as 2 days edition workflow. Now it says workflow name must start with a letter. So we can't directly use number. So maybe I'll just call this as 2 instead of this 2 days edition workflow. I'll click on save. Now, as you see over here, again, you have 3 different tabs, build, activity, and monitor. Now the workflow has been saved. I can go ahead and play around with this option. I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can fit to view, I can tidy up, I can switch to horizontal or vertical layout. I can do all the free form. The other thing which you can see in the workflow over here is like variable. So I can drag and drop this variable over here. Now in Power Automate Flow, earlier what we used to do is like we used to create a block and say initialize a variable, then set a variable. So think about like if your workflow has maybe 50 variables, you may need to use 50 initialization and 50 setting up, right? Now this entire thing can be done in one block. So if I have a variable like X, which is of type string, I will just type in hello. Update variable, I can go ahead and select the variable and I can set the variable as world. So within this block, I have one variable, I have initialized, I have set the variable. Again, I'll go over here, initialize variable, call this as Y, type as integer, I'll put value as 12. I'll update the variable, select Y, I can increment the variable. So I can increment it by maybe 7. I'll go again, click on update variable, select Y, decrement the variable by 2. So I'm just performing all this operation. Now, if you see all this operation, it's all contained in this one block. So your flow doesn't look messed up. You can go ahead and name this variable. You can just say X and Y variable management. Let's put it in MGT. You have an option to go into the settings, go to the code view. You can actually view the code of this particular block, what is happening in form of JSON, enable word wrap, copy to clipboard, open it in full screen. You can actually see what's happening. And also this variable section, if it is getting too clumsy over here, click on expand. And now here you can actually add a lot of variables, perform all those operations. So again, remember, I have initialized X as string. That's why while initializing, it allowed me an operation to set variable, or I can append to string. So even append to string is part of the set variable now. So you need not use separate action for that. If your variable is integer, it automatically gave me an option of increment, decrement, and setting a variable. So like that, if you have array, if you have, say, let's use array. Maybe I'll just put Z and of type array. I'll not set any value. I'll update the variable, select a variable Z and append to array. So I can go ahead and append, perform this append operation. So depending on the data type, it keeps on changing like the methods. So I'll just remove this. I don't want anything on variable array, so I can go ahead and delete it. I have two variables, X and Y, and I can just go ahead and minimize it, click on save, and you will see the activity tab, monitor tab. Now I can go ahead and run this. So once it is saved, you will see this message. Okay, everything good. I can go ahead and publish it. So what we have done, we have created a simple flow. And once this flow is ready, this flow can be used in an agent. So as you see this trigger, if this is the trigger when an agent calls the flow, you should be able to call this workflow. Now, how do we run this? You just click on test, and then it will start executing this workflow. So basically the agent will get triggered. Then the agent, now if you see it has succeeded, it has added 2 days. You will see the operation. So this is the base time. Time unit is day, interval is 2. And it will take the input value, it will take the output value. Now the first operation, what we did is like we wanted to see the increment of the date, right? So if I just click on switch to horizontal layout, click on activity, you will see the first run. And then in the first run, click on add days. And then here you will see the input. So input is 24th of the 6th today. I said add 2 days to it. The output is 26th of the 6th. You can expand the output. You can expand the input, and you can copy, paste whatever things you want. So this is just an example of how you can create a simple workflow. And at the end, once you're done with this, just click on publish. So a lot of things has changed in the interface. So if this is your agent, you can go ahead, click on tools, and then you will see all the workflow over here. Now, this is the workflow which I have created previously. If this list doesn't refresh, maybe you can go ahead and refresh your entire interface, and then you should be able to see all the workflow. Now, if I just click on calculate day plus 2, it will add that in the workflow. So now add that into the agent. So we are adding a workflow into the agent. And then you can perform all those operations. Now, depending on what have you prompted, it will start selecting whatever items it has. And then it will start adding into the workflow. All right, so going into the new tab over here, if I go into home, you will see something called as agent ops. So if I click on agent ops, this is basically an evaluation of an agent. So once your agent is ready, you can go ahead and start the evaluation. Now you can manually type in the prompt and let the agent create those test evaluation. Like as you see over here, agent ops will give you stats of agents count, publish count, Copilot credits consumption. And from here, you can sort, you can see whether you have actually run the evaluation or not. And if you want to run an evaluation, like let me go into the agent over here. So let's assume this is their agent. I'll click on evaluate. And then from here, I can go ahead and click on new evaluation. Evaluation is basically you are basically testing the agent, but autonomously. You don't want to test the agent manually for each and every prompt. You have an option to drag and drop a CSV file, which will have a set of questions and the response. You can create a quick conversation set, or maybe you can write questions yourself. So you create an agent evaluation, provide a test method. So in this case, there is a general quality. When you click on it, it will ask you to select the user profile. And you can also run this agent on behalf of other person. So I can maybe select Alex's name and I will add Alex in the user field. And then Alex will be able to log in. So I've just canceled this because I don't want to log in into Alex, but here there is an option through which you can change that evaluation. And then once your evaluation is created, you can go ahead and click on generate 10 conversation or 25 conversation, or you can write on your own all these test cases. So let me go into one of the agents and let me go into one of the agent which I have created previously. So this is the one which we have created now. So we have a trial agent over here. And here, if I go to evaluate, I have already created this evaluation. So this is how the evaluation will look like. I've executed this evaluation. It has 100% pass. I can rerun the evaluation, or maybe I can export the test set. I can delete this evaluation. I can click on it and I can see how the evaluation spans. So basically, one evaluation is show me the current weather in New York. Okay, if your agent is giving you an answer for the weather, here you can say, okay, if you put in this prompt, agent will reply back, and then you can further have those multi-turn conversation. Now, if you don't want to have multi-turn conversation, just click on remove the question and response, and you can just say once agent gives you the response as weather in New York, then you can say, will it rain today? So you can have those multi-turn conversation, and then you can even add a agent's response as well. And you click on done, and then you rerun those again evaluation. So this is how you can basically evaluate. In the monitor tab, you will see a whole bunch of monitoring capabilities like the overview of the agent, the conversation session, reaction, capabilities, which tools was used, which knowledge source was used, and even the test category. So the test failure category, once you run the evaluation, it will show you the result over here. This can range from last 90 days to 30 days to 14 days, or maybe you can define your custom time frame as well. All right, coming back to the agent where we were. So let me go to the agents. And here we have created this agent. Now we have seen Microsoft IQ, tools, knowledge, connected agents. Now, if I click on connected agents, I have an ability to connect to another agent. So this is an agent which I've already created previously. I can connect to this agent. Previously, there was a concept of child agent and connected agents. Now, this is connected agent. There is no child agent in the new interface. So in the new interface, you can directly call a connected agent, and you don't have a feature set for creating a child agent. And it is not required technically because you already have an independent connected agent created. So I can just select any of the agent. I will describe. Uh, I put some description and then I'll click on connect. And then this will connect to the agent. So basically any agent which you have created and published. Okay, well, two things remaining, skills and memory. Now, from a memory perspective, memory is like the agent which you are building will have some sort of a memory defined so that if I am interacting with this agent and if I have already conversed with the agent and I've told everything about me, the agent will remember, provided I turn on the memory. So I'll just turn on the memory, click on save, and maybe I can click on publish as well. Publish, there are a couple of options over here. You can publish to demo site, web app, Teams, Microsoft 365. Any publishing to WhatsApp, Facebook, Line, and other channels, it's all removed in the new interface. So currently, you only have three different options: demo, web app, and a combination of Teams and Microsoft 365. I'll just cancel it for a moment. We have turned on memory over here. Now, how do we test it? I'll just click on preview, and here there are two modes for testing an agent. If I just say hello, the agent will reply back. If the agent understand my prompt, you have an option to see it from an end user perspective as well. Now, if you see the statement over here, this is like this will be shown only to you, right? So anything agent is doing, so user said hello, let me greet them back, and this is the response. Now, had it been an end user, this information would not be visible. Like what is agent doing in the background, you will not see. So if I click on end user preview, that information is gone. So you have an option to view from an end user perspective as well as from like a developer perspective. All right. So memory. So from a memory perspective, now let's assume that I'm interacting with this agent for last 2 3 days. Now still agent asks me the same question and again, where do I reside? If I ask for weather, agent may not understand, okay, like which location do I belong to. Now in order to test the memory, we can just test putting this prompt, who am I? Okay, so maybe I'm just putting some prompt over here. So then the agent will start explaining that, okay, you are Girish, email is this, and time zone is this. So agent just has this information because I've logged in. So it knows the email address and the time zone which I belong to. But again, this is not correct because it is picking up the server name. But if I tell agent that who am I, so I can just say, I live in Brisbane, Queensland, and I love pizza. So then any statement with I, agent will understand the context and it will start remembering it because I have turned on the memory, right? So the user shared personal information about themselves. I should save this to their memory. Okay, right. Now I will just say I am a maybe a project lead and work for Girish Banking Corp. I'm just providing some information so that tomorrow, if I ask anything about the project status and all, it should not pick random information. It should only give from this organization. So now I've put in some information. Now, again, let's me again type in who am I? And then the agent will retrieve the information from the memory. And now the agent understand that my name is this, email is this, I live in Brisbane, favorite food is pizza, this is the employer, this is the role. And even I can, like now, if I ask for what is the weather currently now, it will automatically pick from Brisbane because it has got that context now. Now you have an option, you can build up on those memory or make, you can just say clear all memory. And then it will maybe remove all the items from the memory and then we will all start from start. So user wants to clear all memory, I should clear the memory files, and then it will start clearing the memory. And then maybe let's see if I just type in who am I, and then it should lose the context now. So this is the use of memory. So it will understand the context and you can further refine your prompt asking those filtered questions. So that's about memory. Okay, let's look into skills. Now, what is skills? Skills is something new over here. So skills, again, before you understand all those skills concept and all, let me just walk you through a site called as skill.md. So if you type in skill.md, it will take you to the site. So agent skills is a standardized way to give AI agents new capabilities and expertise. Agent skills, it was originally created by Anthropic. So agent skills are a lightweight open format for extending AI agent capabilities. Now, remember in the classic mode when we had this topic. So, topic is like a structured conversation, right? Like whereby you say, I have a topic for maybe giving some information about, say, football, or I have a topic which will guide the user along a specific path of maybe invoice approval. Same thing can be done in skill. Now you don't have topic in the modern interface. So the new way to do is use a skill. Now for skill, you need to have a skill.md file, which is a markdown file. There are some specification in skill. This is how the simple skill file will look like. So skill.md has a front matter. These are the two important things, name and description. Rest all is not mandatory, but you should have a name, description, and you have a YAML content. So this is a simple skill name, description. And if you have any other fields, you can add that over there. Okay. There are already created so many skills. So if you go to skills.sh, you will find whole bunch of skills already created. So the benefit of skill is like if you create a skill in one agent, you can use that skill in another agent. So it is that portable. So you can use it across an environment. So that's the whole purpose. If anything which comes as a reusable component, better to use skills. Okay, so how do you add a skill? You just click on skills over here and you can create from blank or upload a file. Remember, this must be a skill.md file or a zip package that includes skill.md. Skill.md contains skill name and description. So it's a bit complex. Let me go ahead and create a simple skill. Now the skill which I'm going to create is called as maybe hello. So remember the format, like you should be starting with a character and then it should small char and maybe you can use hyphen. So hello art. And here I will say generate a friendly greeting in ASCII format. And I can put more description if user asks for it. Like I can just say use when the user explicitly asks for an artistic or ASCII hello. And in the instruction, I will just say when the skill is activated, we just need to put in an instruction. So maybe I'll just say when the skill is activated, I want to do something. So maybe I'll just remove whatever things written over here. Maybe I'll just say output word hello in large stylized ASCII art character. And maybe I'll just say add a welcome message, or maybe I'll just say don't share or don't output any other information. Now, when the skill get activated, when it recognizes that I have asked something depending on the name or the description. So if I just say hello, it will understand, okay, I want something in hello art, and then the skill will get executed. Now, the whole purpose of skill is, see, the same thing you can write in instructions as well, right? Now, either you write this in an instruction or you create a skill file. The benefit of skill file is one is it is reusable. You can use it across multiple agents, multiple ecosystem. Plus, it will consume less token because when an agent is loaded with, like in the context, instructions get stored in the context, right? This instruction will not get stored in the context until and unless the skill is called. Okay. So again, it is dynamic retrieval. So it is like progressive retrieval of the instructions. So I'll just say click on create, and this is my ASCII art format skill. If I go to preview, maybe let's try this out. I haven't tried this. Maybe hello art, and it will start looking into like the information. So if I just see over here, I think you might have meant to say something else. Perhaps you're testing me out. I'm here to help answer from Copilot. How can I assist you today? So it is not able to understand it correctly. So maybe I will just go ahead and go to build, go to hello art, and then I can format it further. I can say generate a friendly format, friendly greeting in ASCII format. Use when user explicitly ask for hello, ask for an artistic hello. Maybe just, and you can go ahead and change all those instructions. I'm just putting it save. You can click on save, you can preview, and then maybe hello in ASCII format. And then once you save, once you publish, then only it will run. So maybe as you see over here, it has run this ASCII art. But I just wanted to show you again because I didn't show you properly. So maybe hello ASCII art. See what the agent thinks through working on it. And then it will start looking into the backend knowledge, workflow, if it finds any information, and now it has loaded the skill hello art and it has rendered this. So if I click over here, I can see you can generate a friendly greeting in ASCII format. So this is how you can generate those skills. Now I've got so many markdown files. So maybe I can just show you the markdown file which I have. So I have got Python hello world. I have got system info. So this is a simple Python file which has got a name. So as you see over here, it has got a name and a description. And instead of instruction, it can contain a simple Python command as well. So I can go ahead and write a simple Python code. So I have this demo over here. I've already created this simple Python code, print. This is a simple file by Girish. This is printing, like 2025, or maybe I'll just put 2026. 12 years from now is 2028. So there's a simple Python file. And I have a skill.md file, which will point to this file. So if you see the name, run Python math, description, run hello py, written the script output directly. That's it. These are the two simple things. Now, there are two things over here, skill.md file and hello.python. But over here, we only have an option to upload a skill file, right? So we can't upload two files. But skill.md is not only just an individual file, but it has got a package component to it. So this is the folder which had all those Python code, right? Hello world Python code and the skill.md. What I can do, I can just package this up. So compress to and maybe zip file. And I've got this zip file over here, demox.zip. What I will do, I will drag and drop this file. And it says bundle is missing a root level skill.md file. Now remember, must be a skill.md file or a zip package that includes skill.md file. So if you don't have that skill.md file, it will not allow. So if you see over here, demox.zip had hello.py, but the folder itself is it is not identified the MD file over here. So what you may need to do is like maybe just take this file and maybe zip it up directly. So rather than doing it from a folder level, you can go ahead and zip this file. And maybe you might get this file, say hello.zip, and you can just maybe just I'll just say cancel this off, click on skills, and I will drag. Now here it will start saving the skill. Now we have uploaded two files. You can upload 1,000 files. One has the markdown file format skill, and it will refer to a Python code. So this is the one which we created. It is just name, description, instruction. You can edit it anytime. This we have uploaded. And if you see over here, it is giving you the preview. So skill.md and the Python code. So this is a simple Python code. This is a skill. What the skill says, run this Python code. That's it. So you can run any Python code. So converting a PDF, generating a user identifier, generating an HTML file, running very complex charts, those all things you can do. So, okay, skill.md, it runs Python math, right? So if I just type in this, run Python math, it will run this Python and say 12 years from now is something. It will calculate. Okay, simple calculation, maybe 2038. That will be the answer. Okay, run Python math. So maybe this is all there. Let me go into the agent, click on new chat, and then run Python math. It will start working on it. It will start looking into the skills. It will see that there are some skills, there are some knowledge base, and it will understand user wants to run this loaded skill. You can go inside the script. It is now running the Python script. And now here you will see this is a simple file by Girish. 12 years from now is 2038. See, again, this is a very simple example I've just explained to you, but then the possibility is endless. So it can do wonders. It can do magic, with just this agent. All right, so then that brings us to a question. What is this agent all about? Like, okay, we have built this agent. This agent can do something, but okay, I can put all the logics over here. I showed you skills, tools, knowledge, connected agent, but I want to know more about this agent, what this agent is all about. Okay, let me create new chat. And here, let's ask question to agent. We have already asked this question, who am I? So this is the agent will give information about myself, the person who is asking this question. But I want to know information about this agent. So I have got a simple skill. So I will add a skill. So that skill is, I'll just show you the skill. It is called as system info. Again, it is running some simple Python code and try to give the server version behind this. Okay, so systeminfo.md is the file name. So let me go ahead and upload this skill. So we are now investigating what this agent contains. So systeminfo.md, and this is the skill, right? Go to preview, and maybe I'll just say system info. And then it will start looking into the skills. If it finds the skills, it will run that Python code and it will give you the output. Now the user is asking for system info. I can share general information. And now it has given me this information. Under the hood, it is running Linux. This is the kernel. This is the architecture. This is the Python. This is the disk size and all those things. So that means we have now queried the agent, like what this agent contains, you know, because we need to know what all things we can run in this agent. It's a Linux box, so we can write some Linux command as well. So cat command, just to see what is the infrastructure. So I just ran some command over here and I can get the information about the backend. So it's a Linux version, GNU, and then multi-processing. Compiler is this, running on Ubuntu. I can also ask some basic question like how much memory you have. And then again, it will go in the backend. It will start querying what this agent is capable of, and I'll be able to get some information. Now here's the memory. So I can see my agent has 2 gigs of memory. Free is this, available is this, used, cached, and buffer and swapped. So yes, I can get more information. Okay, which Python version is getting run in this particular agent? So I can type in Python version and I'll be able to get the information back. Okay, I think this agent is running on a container. So maybe I can just ask, are you a container? I'm not sure whether this will work, but I'm just asking whether this agent is a container or it's like a virtual machine or what it is. Yes, it has given me some information, not completely because it's a secured sandbox container, but yes, I know it's indeed running on a secured sandbox container and it has given me the directory list as well. So you can query these kind of information as well. Okay, general use case. So maybe I will upload a file, like maybe I will upload my image. And here I've uploaded my image and then maybe I'll just say generate pencil drawing. So it has uploaded the image and I've just asked it to generate some pencil drawing. So it again shows you this information. It will start looking into the background data and then it will use NumPy. So as you see over here, great OpenCV and NumPy are available. So it will use OpenCV, NumPy, convert into grayscale. And now this is the grayscale image it has generated. So it has got a lot of function in it, right? Which does all this magical cool things. So I'm happy. I just want to know, okay, what all functions you have. Maybe if I just type in date, let's see whether it returns the date or not. So yes, it has written the correct date, but I don't want in this format. So I'll just say date in all formats. Maybe I just want month, I want DD, MM, YYY, and all those kind of things. And yes, it should give me a list of all the formats, right? And yes, it has given me the comprehensive list. So these are like some of the things which you can ask because in the background, it runs some functions, right? Now, if I want to know what all file folder structure it has, I will just say list app directory contents. So remember the one file which you have just uploaded, my image file, and then it has also generated a sketch file. These all things are stored in the background. So if you see over here, this is the file which I uploaded. It has gone into the upload folder. There is a workspace folder which has an artifacts. These are the skills internally they have like analyze CSV, docx, PDF, XLSX, hello art, run Python. Remember, like these are the skills which we uploaded, right? Hello art, run Python math. So it is all under skills folder. So in the background, we have queried what this agent contains. And this agent has also given me an output of sketch of myself, right? So it is stored in this created folder. So I can, any point of time, ask the agent to give me this file back, right? So multiple ways to get this file back. I can just say, list me all the files which I have uploaded. So imagine like you are conversing an agent and you have uploaded so many documents, contracts, and now you want to retrieve that back so that you can download it. So you can go ahead and ask this information and it has given me the output like, okay, this is the document which you have uploaded. Now, this is one way. If you want to know the other way, just dislike this comment. So I just dislike this comment. And then here you will see all the document which you have uploaded or interacted with the system. See, this is the document which I inputted. This is the document system gave me. So it will give you the complete list and then you can even download from here, right? So this is another way to get it. Some of the other functions, I can just say what all commands can I use in, say, I know this is a sandbox environment. So I'll just say sandbox environment. And then it will start listing down what all things this agent has at disposal. There are some things which agent has. There are some things which we may need to augment this agent by adding a skill or adding a other kind of methods. Now, if you see, this agent is fully loaded. It can do a lot of things on its own. So I can see a lot of functions which is being used by this agent. We can't install anything, but let me just go through this. It has got Python, quite obvious. It has got pip, the installer. It has got Node.js, file and directory, some commands, search and text processing. It has got grep, grep. It has got text manipulation function, JSON processing function, file comparison function, zipping, compression, and archiving function, security and crypto functions, document processing. So it can convert a PDF, it can extract data from PDF, it can generate a markdown file. It has got Hugging Face CLI, it has got NumPy config, it can generate table formatting. So a whole bunch of thing it has. So it is just a matter of just querying the backend to understand. Because see, if you want to convert something to PDF, you need not connect it to some source and extract it. Like if the agent already has all this information, why not use it natively, right? So those all things we can use. Other thing is like, okay, maybe I will again upload one image. So many times, like in our organization, maybe we may need to get the base 64 version of this. Okay, so I have uploaded one image and I'll just say, get me base 64 version of it so that I can use it in Power Automate Flow and then I can send it to as an embedded attachment within an Outlook email. So I've attached an image. I'm just setting get me base 64. It says base 64 output is too large. Let me save it in a file. So it has created the file and it has given me this base 64. So if I open this, this is the base 64 equivalent version. So yeah, let me show you this. Yeah, so it has generated this base 64 file and I can use this base 64 file very easily. So these are like some of the things which you can do in this particular agent. So there are so many things which you can do. If you want to know anything about what font tools this particular agent has in terms of fonts, in terms of font manipulation, so you can again ask this to the agent. And it has got so many things. It has got font tools, converting the font, subset, merge multiple fonts, compress, so many things. All right, so I think we are out of time. So what we have seen in this entire session is the new and the modern interface. It is there, it is good, but it is not that production ready. So if you are building any project today, I would advise not to go with the modern interface till the time this modern interface stabilizes, maybe after a month or so. But after a month, you will maybe only have only one option to create your Copilot Studio agent. You have got a rich facility to create an agent, see the workflow, and also there are many features which is coming currently. Now, if you see over here, this agent, you can with this interface, you can directly publish. You can perform a lot of operations. You can publish, you can delete, even you can update. You see, if I click on update over here, it will ask me, where do you want to publish the change? So all these rich features are getting embedded in the Copilot Studio agent. So I would say just hold on for now, just explore the feature, just get to know where these all things reside, and then I think it should be fine. So with this, I'd say I'll just close the session. So I would thank you guys for joining the session, and I'll see you on maybe next month. Thanks for joining.